Good morning, children. We'll start with the question answers of the selfish giant. And in this process, we'll start with the first question here. The first question is, why do the children go to the giant's garden? And the children used to go to the giant's garden because it was a large, lovely garden with soft grass, with beautiful flowers and peach trees bearing fruit. Second question is, where did the giant go for 7 years? Giant went to visit his friend, the over and stayed there for 7 years. No problem. Next question is, what did the giant do to stop the entry of children? The giant built a high wall all around it and put up a notice board. Trespassers will be prosecuted. Why did the children say how happy we were there? The children could not go to the garden as giant had barred their entry. They could go to the dusty roads to play, so they were very distressed and they were missing the garden. That's why they were upset. Why spring did not enter the giant's garden? The giant did not allow the children to play in his garden. That's why the spring could not enter the garden. It did not want to actually without children. There was no fun. Why did the flowers go back into the ground? Once a beautiful flower put its head out from the grass, but when it saw the notice board which was hanging in his garden, it was so sorry for the children that it slipped back into the ground again and went off to sleep. Why were the snow and the frost happy? The snow and the frost were happy because the spring had forgotten the garden, so they can stay all year round. Who was roaring in the garden? Why? North Wind was invited by the snow and the frost to stay with them. It was wrapped in furs and it roared all day about the garden. How did the giant realize that spring has visited in his garden? One morning it so happened that he heard some music from outside, and when he came out to see, it was a beautiful little linnet singing outside the window. Hail and North Wind had stopped suddenly when they saw Linnet singing, and he could smell delicious perfume of flowers hit him. So he was overjoyed with the adverbs of spring. How did the children enter into the garden? The children crept in through a little hole in the wall. It was a lovely scene. How? The giant was desperately waiting for the spring, and the smiles of the children brought it. The trees were so glad and were gently waving about the children's head. The giant's heart melted. How did he become a changed person? Once he looked out and found the children were playing in the garden. Why then he could realize that it was actually the missing thing from his life, and that the wall he mounted had stopped the entry of children, and thus it has stopped the entry of spring. And so he broke the wall and allowed the children to play. Okay children, we will finish it in the next video. Till then, take care.